All right, everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Trailhead. We have an amazing guest on again today. His name is Jacob, and he has an incredible product that I wanted everybody to see. It is probably some other things that will eventually be coming out, but from what I can tell right now, he's got a bunch of cool camera bags and just different bags and accessories. So Jacob, thanks so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Fred.
So I guess I want everybody to kind of know a little bit more, excuse me, about what it is that you create exactly, because we've only had a brief conversation on Instagram. I've gone through many different camera bags throughout the 20 plus years of me shooting. But I'm sure you have a whole reason behind why you did it and everything else. But go ahead and just tell everybody what your company does, how I pronounce the name of your company too, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea letting it up to me how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
So I'm Jacob Muth, or Jacob Muth in German. I'm from Hamburg, Germany. And my business is called Leichtmut. But I think for, ease of talking, let's just say Leichtmut, which is partly why I chose the name, because you can, adapt it pretty easily into English, and the meaning
Yeah.
changes a bit. So it's Leichtmut. And what I do with Leichtmut is I create ultralight camera bags for outdoors people, so outdoor photographers, hobbyists, hikers who go outside and who don't want to leave their camera behind. So,
Yeah.
because that's what I do. I go hiking and I take pictures, and carrying your camera gear, it's lots of weight to your backpack. And once you start researching how to reduce that weight, you very quickly get into ultralight backpacking, and that's where the conundrum starts, because
Yeah.
the first thing ultralighters tell you to drop is your camera. So you can only get that far but you still have that heavy weight.
Yeah.
And there was no way really. I mean, there are one or two options out there, and very few, to carry your camera outdoors, but they're also very limited. They're pretty much only for DSLR with a lens attached, but you can't bring anything else. So I, started building my own stuff as a hobbyist. MYOG, make your own gear. There's a big community on Reddit and lots of online forums, YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started with it, and where I am now.
That's cool. So I think like I go on a lot of trips, and like you just said, like a lot of ultralight people say, drop the heaviest gear, drop your camera, drop this lens, drop this, whatever. And I've been on a lot of hikes, and I've had to always choose what to bring, but then I have to, from what I do shooting for different or for different hiking brands and stuff like that, is I have to bring my camera and I have to bring that gear. So I have to bring an extra 10 pounds of camera gear with me. And I've tried the ones, that go on the strap and then the camera is exposed the whole time. And I've taken my bag off and forgot that it's on there. And next thing you know, it smacks onto a rock. I've done everything. So I love your bag because and I'll put some pictures of some of the bags you make, because you make custom bags, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I
Yeah.
have some standard products and standard sizes and features, but so and then I offer lots of custom options, so you can add
Yeah.
more features, different fabrics, colors, all of that, sizes as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I tell a little bit more about the bag itself and what is
Yeah.
special
Well,
about it? Or
yeah. Well, I wanted to get into kind of how
right.
you first got into
Yeah,
this
of
whole
course.
thing, because every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, how did you get into making a bag? You said you made your own gear, and then I'm sure someone asked you about it or something like that. But I guess tell everybody what you were doing before you even started doing this, and kind of tell us your whole backstory and how the company began.
Yeah. So I guess it kind of started when I was still studying. So
Okay.
I studied something very different. PPE for my bachelor's degree, philosophy, politics, and economics.
Yeah.
And then in between that, I did a master's degree. But before that, I did like an apprenticeship as a copywriter back in Germany. So I worked for advertising agencies, and then I continued to do my master's studies in the field of international development, because I
Okay.
wanted to do communications for non-governmental organizations. That was kind of where I was heading with my education.
Okay.
And then I basically worked in marketing for a bit for a small company in Hamburg, Germany. and they make well, basically an upcycling business, and I did all of
Okay.
their website content, photography, copywriting content, all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and during that time when I was studying, I really got into photography as a hobby, and I was studying in the UK, and then I started doing astrophotography, and that's what I really enjoyed, what I was
Oh,
passionate
cool.
about. And I bought a Star Trek and everything, so adding even more weight
You
to
went
my
you
backpack.
went all in,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I was hiking up this mountain, not even a mountain, a hill, ah, and I was in pain. I didn't enjoy it. So
Yeah.
then I thought, okay, then I got into that rabbit hole of ultralight backpacking
Yeah.
and figured, well, actually, and I saw lots of people, there are lots of ultralight brands out there, small brands that build backpacks and stuff, but nothing tailored to photographers. But I
Yeah.
did see that lots of people actually build their own backpack. And I do enjoy making things. So I
Yeah.
figured, why can't I make a backpack, with just separate access to my photography gear? So
Yeah.
just like I tried to make a combination of an ultralight hiking backpack that basically strips all other unnecessary functions, and just add one function back, like an extra access zipper.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I came home and started my new job at that company, and COVID hit, and had lots of time at home.
Yeah.
So I started, sewing my first backpack. And so it was basically a regular backpack. It just had a side panel zipper, so you could open the
Yeah.
side to pull out your camera bag from the bottom. Because I wanted it to sit at the bottom of the bag, not at the top.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, well,
Yeah.
that's how I started, but it wasn't really practical, like
Yeah.
I couldn't really use my external side pockets anymore because I, had the zippers there and it was all
Okay.
complicated, and I didn't enjoy using that. And then that all stopped for a while. And then during COVID, I didn't really go outdoors much, didn't go hiking so much. But then
Yeah.
in 2022, I prepared for the hike in Sweden, the Kungsleden Trail, the King's Trail. And again, it's back to the old question: how do I carry my camera? And then I decided to just bring a second bag, a separate
Yeah.
bag, keep the backpack ultralight, standard
Yeah.
one, but just bring a separate bag. Still, it was still a hobby, right? I was just making
Yeah.
this for myself
Yeah.
because the solutions out there, like you said, you have your camera exposed, but you want to protect it from the rain, from bumps against the rocks. You're outdoors in the
Yeah.
environment. You want to protect it. And also, you need to access it quickly. So, yeah, you have companies that build very big backpacks for people who go backpacking with camera gear. But
Yeah.
that one, they're very heavy. And second of all, you need to take them off every time you want to access your camera.
Yeah.
And I like snap everything I see. Once I see something, I need to get the idea out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I just take a picture and then I can keep hiking.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst thing on trail is taking off your backpack. That's what
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I built. I mean, you have other camera bags as well, like more traditional ones that are just heavier that you clip, like carry in front of your front loaders, carry in
Yeah.
front of your body, like attached to your shoulder straps, very much like my own camera bags.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were heavy, oftentimes not waterproof. So I tried to make something of my own.
Yeah. Because I have I guess a camera pod or something like that from, I think it's Hyperlight.
Yeah.
And I always carry Ziploc bags in it too, because it's not they say it's waterproof, but it's not. So I have to carry it. So if it starts raining, I quickly open it up and throw my camera in a giant Ziploc bag and everything else. And then it opens the wrong way too. So when I try to get it, I can't even see what's inside and stuff like that. And I think it's cool that you have the ability to customize it. I think that's one great thing about having your own business and a small company like yours is you can literally make whatever you want. You're not constrained to what REI or something like that, tells you have to keep in stock or whatever. So, okay, so you did all that, and then so how long has your company been going for? Or how long have you officially been a company then?
A bit more than a year. September
Okay.
of 2024. Yeah, that's when I started.
Okay.
My website went live like a year, 2 months ago. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's right around when I had seen your stuff, or maybe I was following you just on Instagram before that. But So, because I had read on Instagram that you had like started a job and only been there for like a month, and then you like
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah. So, yeah, that really is the story how it turned into a business. So I had that job in Hamburg, and then
Yeah.
I worked there for 4 years, and it was time for something new. And I actually found that job that I was looking for, the communications for a non-governmental agency
Yeah.
organization. Um, and I started, and I left after a month. It was horrible. Like I really
Yeah.
didn't enjoy the workplace at all.
Yeah.
So I had got into my dream job, and then I hated it as soon as I got there. So I left and had a bit of a crisis, took
Yeah.
some time off, and thought about what should I do now, what's next.
Yeah.
And I knew there was always, in the back of my mind, I really enjoy making stuff.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to actually make stuff for a living? Yeah, that my mind just started wandering, and I just, I had the camera bag, the one I made for myself,
Yeah.
and I was probably like at iteration 4 because I made a new one for every hike. But
Yeah.
it still wasn't really a product worth selling. So I actually spent, months just working on that product idea, improving it
Yeah.
over and over, to get it to a point where I thought it's a product that other people would enjoy using.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I got to the point.
That's
Um,
cool.
and I
It's
figure I'm still young enough to start something of my own, without having a big risk.
yeah.
Our rent isn't too high, so I don't have my expenses not that high, so
Yeah.
it's pretty low risk to start it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, a lot of times people don't start their business because it's a risky thing, and there's not a lot of risk takers out there. I am not a risk taker. I'm a risk taker with my life, but when it comes to like finances or my kids or anything like that, I am a zero risk taker. And
Yeah.
I wish, in hindsight, I wish I had started doing what I'm doing now when I was younger, before I had like my wife and 3 kids,
Mhm.
because every time I had one more kid, I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to keep a job because I have to
Yeah.
pay for everything. But we ended up taking that risk, and you're taking that risk, and it seems like it's panning out. It's really cool. Like, you get to, I think people don't understand, when you start a business, they think you can just work whenever you want, but you're actually probably working more than when you worked a regular job, because you're waking up, you're doing stuff, you've got deadlines, and then you're your own boss, but you've got to go ahead and, now I've got to make 4 bags today because or whatever. So you're probably staying up all day long, and everything. And so, I mean, the risk is there, but you took it, and it's paying off. And the bags look awesome. So I guess
Thanks.
tell us more about the bags themselves and what is kind of special about them. I know what's special about them because I've seen them a whole bunch and everything else. So one day I'm going to get one that in hand that I'll be able to use. But um, tell us about it and kind of what your specialties are and what other things you're making.
Yeah. Well, I can get quite passionate about this, so if I go, into too much detail,
Yeah.
do stop
No,
me.
go into
Um,
as much detail as you can.
all right, okay. So this is the
Yeah.
right place for it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I pretty much try to design a camera bag from the ground up without actually looking too much at other camera bags and what they are
Yeah.
doing, because I think that what they are doing doesn't work for me, so I need to do it differently, of course.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of, key design criteria. So I wanted the bag to be as waterproof as I could make it, because you're out there and you want to, rely on your gear and keep your camera protected. And then, of course, to also protect the camera in other ways. So I have padding. That's what
Yeah.
defines a camera bag. It's just you have a padded bag. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, and then to have different carrying opportunities. To figure out, some people want to put it in their backpack, some want to attach it to their hip belt straps, some to their shoulder straps. And the third one, and actually also one of the most important ones, is to have your camera quickly accessible.
Yeah.
So, I explained it earlier. And you don't want to, even now, I don't want to stop for 10, 20 seconds. I just want to stop for 5 seconds, grab a picture, and keep going.
Yeah.
So quick access is really important. Um, Quick access, waterproofness, flexibility, and then while, keeping it as light as possible while still fulfilling all those other criteria.
Yeah.
And that's what I set out to do. And the first one, to make it waterproof, is basically to pick waterproof fabrics. That's pretty simple. And modern fabrics, you can tape seam plate pretty easily. So you close all the stitch holes you put into the fabric. And then what I also did is I tried to, reduce the number of seams. Typically when you design a bag, you take your fabric and you cut it into pieces. And you make a piece for every side of the bag, for each panel.
Yeah.
And then you get, a high number of seams. And I just tried to reduce that. I had to do some geometry that I hadn't done since, school, to figure out the sewing patterns and all that. So that was quite fun, but also took a really long time to actually develop. But then what I'm most proud of these bags is the quick access mechanism. So typically you have just a zipper, right? In camera bags. And also the Hyperlight bag that you mentioned has a zipper. And I actually really like the bag. I bought one just to see how they made it in the end.
Yeah.
I really love the design because it is so much easier to make than my bag. But of course it has limitations. With a zipper. So the first bags that I made for my hikes had zippers as well. And, I did all the other things that I said. I made it waterproof, except for the zipper. You can get water, resistant zippers, or, they actually prevent water from getting in through the zipper teeth. But then once you sew in the zipper to the bag, like those stitch holes, you can't seal easily. Like you can't,
Oh, okay.
like a factory can do it. They can have other equipment and weld things together, but it's not really manageable for myself. So that was really like the failing point.
Yeah.
And I had a hike in Portugal on the Fisherman's Trail. Beautiful hike on the coast. It's, you go there in February. It's in your summer temperatures for, what I think is summer.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't get too much rain, but the first day we had a very big rainstorm. And, we hiked for like 2 kilometers and my camera was soaked. Just because of those seams.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to avoid zippers, and what do backpacks do? They take roll tops, but roll tops are kind of annoying. In terms of quick access, you need to unroll them, and you don't want to close them every time you get out the camera. So I added magnets to the roll top. So you can close it fully to protect it from rain, or you open it and just flip down that roll top extension part of the bag.
Yeah.
To the front of the bag, and there's another magnet holding that in place.
Ah,
so basically,
okay.
you just have the bag, roll top extension, flip it down, and that means the opening, points you down, so actually no rain can get inside. And while you're moving, it's all super safe because the magnets hold the bag closed.
Yeah.
And you just flip it open to reach it for your camera. I would say it's even quicker than a zipper, maybe. Maybe it's the same.
I think you're right. I think you're right because my zipper, like, I don't maintain my zipper either, and it always is so hard to get open.
Oh yeah.
And so I totally agree with that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, keep going, because I'm so intrigued by how you figured this all out. So
yeah, I mean, it can get quite hard to just visualize it in your mind. So hop on over to you probably will show images. I can show it back now, but
go ahead.
To Instagram. Yeah, maybe that's easier. So this would be my standard bag.
Yeah.
You see, this is where the camera goes inside. And you have the roll top portion. You unroll this. We'll just flip it down, and there's a magnet there.
Yeah.
Holds it in place. And that's how you have quick access to your camera.
That's so
on
cool.
trail. Yeah. Yeah, and then keeping it lightweight is quite tough. So it's designed very differently from other. I use other fabrics than your typical traditional camera bag because they're lighter. And I also on the inside I use something that's called Dyneema composite fabric. You might know it from ultralight tents or stuff sacks and all of that.
Yeah.
It's very Hyperlight actually. They also use it for their camera bags because it's lightweight. And I use it inside my camera bag as well, just to have a separate layer between the padding, the foam, and your camera. But mainly because it's another fabric that you can tape. So usually you would somehow, so you have that bag that I just showed you, that's just the outside. And then in the middle, you have 3 layers. The outside, the middle, that's a box of foam that I put inside. And typically, traditionally, you would somehow, sew that together,
Yeah.
and then also sew a liner to the inside that's, like kind to your camera, soft
Yeah.
Velcro type fabric. Yeah, but once you sew that again, you get more stitch holes. And
Yeah.
with the traditional fabrics on the inside, again, you can't close those holes and you get water
Yeah.
entry. Yeah, so that's why it's used that other tapeable, very lightweight fabric.
Yeah.
Just to basically, you get the external bag, put the foam inside,
Yeah.
and then you put the liner inside and tape the liner to the external bag. So the foam is sandwiched in between.
Okay.
You actually, like, that's how I insert it. And there's no seams at all. It's stable. It works. That took me a long time to figure out.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that, as far as I'm aware. So
Yeah.
we're really proud
It's
of that. It's quite good to find people who are enthusiastic about that as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, they probably don't do it because it's like you said, it's so hard, and they're like, okay, let's just do it this way and
Oh, yeah.
whatever. But I love it when someone can find a problem or see a problem and find a solution to it. And I'm sure you could line up how many different bags that you had or ideas that you had
Oh, yeah.
tweaked over time. That'd be a cool, like, I always love those progressions of products. Like I love retro video games, and so whenever I see like the iterations of video game controllers before they actually came out with it, it's so neat to see those tiny little tweaks that make it. Because I've ruined so much gear from different types of weather and everything else, and finding a spot and that's what happened with my Hyperlight bag. It was leaking through the zipper
Yeah.
in the rain, and so that's why I started carrying Ziploc bags with me. Was they were like, oh, it's waterproof. The material is, but like you
Yeah.
said, the zipper was the fail point for me because it was just raining too much, and I just assumed that it was going to stay fully waterproof,
Yeah.
and got my stuff wet. Now, lucky, I always carry a backup camera body, and everybody gets mad at me. They're like, "Why do you carry a backup camera body?"
That's heavy.
And I'm like, well, I shoot weddings still, and if I'm at a wedding and my camera fails, then what am I supposed to do? There's only one shot at this wedding, so I have a backup in my car. Well, I can't carry a backup at the start of the trailhead and then hike back 100 miles or whatever. So I carry a very basic camera body, but something that can at least be just jammed down where my sleeping bag is in my actual bag. But I would feel like more inclined to not take it with me if I knew that my bag was waterproof where my main camera is.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question is then, what were some like awesome moments in your business now that you've started it, now that you've got this bag that you've kind of dialed in, kind of how to make it and stuff like that? What were some wins? Like when you first started selling it, were you selling a lot, or are you, since you've only been doing it for maybe a little over a year or under a year, are you still kind of learning? Like, what are some things I guess you're still learning running your business?
Right. A lot, probably. Well, I'm still improving, with making and
Yeah.
efficiency, building stuff. So every bag that, for a long time, every single bag that I made was better than the previous one.
Yeah.
It actually took, a lot of iterations to actually, at this point, every bag is
Yeah.
the same quality.
Yeah.
In the beginning, each bag was a little bit better still.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the first sale was really big for me, of course, when I started out.
Yeah.
I actually advertised with a Reddit post. That's when I kind of started on the ultralight
Okay.
subreddit, and I got some good feedback there.
Oh, cool.
And then, yeah, the first months, actually in November, December, so basically Christmas sale time, was actually pretty good. I got more orders than I anticipated for the early months. And then, yeah, but then it kind of went down a bit. So February last year was quite tough because suddenly I didn't really have sales anymore, and I got into a crisis because I
Yeah.
thought it would just work, and now suddenly it all stopped. What's happening?
Yeah.
But I figured out for what I do, that actually, um, Instagram and Facebook advertising work pretty well because lots of
Yeah.
photographers are on Instagram on those platforms. So that's what I did. But that was a tough learning curve. I wasted a lot of money on advertising and figuring out how
Yeah.
to reach people. And I feel like they just eat your money. And then
Yes.
once you have a good campaign set up, it works super good like in the beginning, and it just gets worse and worse and worse because they want you
Yeah.
to pump more money into the system. So that's quite frustrating. So especially if you want to spend less time doing that, but actually you need to spend more time doing it to
Yeah.
keep it running. And now I'm at a point, so I just went hiking for 6 weeks. I went to New Zealand, took some time off. And during that time, and still now, I stopped all my advertising. I'm still getting sales. So I have some maybe search engine optimization is kind of working, starting now.
Yeah.
Some people know me. Maybe it's still an effect from the advertising.
Yeah.
But it's really good to know that I'm getting sales and I'm not spending money on each sale because that's what every business does. Advertising is big.
Yeah.
But it's very hard if it's your one-person business and you're not buying stuff and you say, okay, well, a third of my costs are purchasing, a third of my costs are advertising. I can't
Yeah.
really do that. It would cost like an insane amount of money because I'm paying myself
Yeah.
making these bags, right? So that's a big learning curve, but also, it's
Yeah.
getting better. Yeah, where were we? Talking
No,
about my
I
learnings.
have a question about that
Yeah.
then. Because I've talked to which is crazy to me is I've talked to companies that they spend. I talked to a gentleman that they run I think it's a sock company, but they spend like about 200,000 a month on social media advertising,
Yeah.
and that blows my mind.
That's a big
That,
number.
and I know big companies spend millions and stuff like that, but it's always a hard pill to swallow sometimes. I think people have to get, and it was great that you are just basically saying like you figured out your niche on like where it's best to advertise, because I think a lot of people waste time on the wrong platform sometimes, or the wrong advertising. And my daughter, actually, she's 18 and she just got a job running the social media for an outdoor backpacking company.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so she gets to run ideas by me, but then she's got that young feel of how to do it and how to make cool content. And that company was like, hey, I think they figured that out. They were like, hey, I need someone to manage my social media, or because as you grow, you can do it yourself. But I know, like, even for me and my wife, for the wedding and the social media stuff that we do and everything, we're trying to manage our social media at the same time. And I feel like I spend 4 hours a day on social media advertising and connecting with people, and less time working.
Yeah.
And as you grow, I mean, you figured it out. And as you grow, you've got to keep going that extra mile. And I think Instagram's great for you for that, for all that advertising and stuff like that. I mean, I see it. I randomly will see somebody and I'll be like, because I'm looking for stuff like that. Oh, I see Yahoo's bag on this on this guy while he's hiking on a mountain or on a trail. So I mean, that's great. So going from that now to like, oh, I was doing great with the sales and stuff like that. Are you finding? I think people, when they start their company, they have that roller coaster of not knowing the ups and downs of sale seasons and everything else. So have you you mentioned like, oh crap, in February,
Yeah.
it wasn't that good, right? Like, I know I see it all the time, that trend. You kind of know when it's down. And so you're like, okay, I have to save a certain amount of money knowing that I'm not going to have as many sales right now. And then all of a sudden it picks back up because now everybody's getting the hiking season. And I feel like most people buy stuff last minute because they don't realize they need something. And they're like, oh crap, I need a camera bag for my trip in 2 weeks. So do you find a lot of people buying stuff last minute? I know you're making it yourself and you do a lot of stuff that's custom too. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so don't have any bags in stock. I make each bag to order, which
Okay.
might not be the most efficient, but given that actually lots of people buy a very different bag. And
Yeah.
most of the time, my standard bag, I think, is what people buy when they want to save money, when they don't want to spend more.
Yeah.
Because the customizations, of course, cost more money. But most bags have some customization of some sort, and many even multiple ones. So, you can't really plan those ahead. I need to make
Yeah.
each one. Well, I make batches, of course. So like 10 different types of bag at the same time,
Yeah.
but I can't pre-produce them. So my lead time last year was like 2 weeks. So because I'm not, famously known, I don't have a backlog of 100 orders. I was pretty quick, I think that was pretty good. So they could pretty much not order last minute, but order like 3 weeks in advance could work,
Yeah.
or they tell me, oh, actually, I'm going on a trip, in 2 weeks. Can you still, can you maybe pull up my order and do it
Yeah.
first? And I would do that, if I
Yeah.
can, and if I can still meet my lead time for all other orders, of course, then
Yeah.
I would be happy to do that. Right now, I'm saying it like 4 weeks because I have now a small backlog of orders from
Yeah.
when I was on my trip. But even that seems to be working fine. And I think it's another learning. At the very beginning, I tried to act like a brand, like a bigger brand, have a very
Yeah. Yeah.
professional website and Instagram looking account,
Yeah.
um, and tried to be bigger than I was, in terms of who's behind it.
Yeah.
And then people also expect certain things, like instant delivery and all of that, and they think, wow, these prices are very high. And then I
Yeah.
started, highlighting that it's just me and I do this all by hand. And it's,
Yeah.
my passion project, and then turned this into a living. And
Yeah.
suddenly people are a lot more understanding, and they understand it takes time, and nobody's asking me, where's my bag? Come on, be quicker.
Yeah.
And even now they understand it takes time. And, yeah, so it's working out all right. But
I think
now,
that's
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Yeah, okay, one more thing, actually. So because you said now I kind of know maybe February would be a hot month. So one thing actually that is quite good about camera bags, skiers and people who go, ski mountaineering, they also carry cameras. So seasons are
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
That's quite good. Um, but also, now I'm working on a different product, one that I tested on trail, one that is maybe more camera bag that is more suitable to the everyday photographer who doesn't care about saving, every single gram of weight.
Yeah.
It's more of a typical, more similar to a sling bag or a waist bag with my quick
Okay.
access mechanism. And I'm planning to release that in small batches that I actually pre-produce, because that if I have an off time, I can build those and then I can sell those.
Yeah.
Even, maybe the discount rate at least cheaper than the bags that I built to order.
Yeah.
Just yeah, because it's not custom made, but you get what I make. And that's something that I would, try to use to fill those empty times. Well, I will see how that works. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
That's, a learning experience
Yeah.
coming.
So, you were saying like you were trying to be, a big brand, and then you realize, I need to just show that it's just yourself. And I think that's a great learning thing for a lot of people that are starting their own company is you don't always have to make it look like you're some big hotshot brand or whatever, because people buy into people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I've found that out so much, even when I would do like wedding photography. I know wedding photography, it's my name and my wife's name for our business, but it still seemed like we were this big thing. But when I would go ahead and meet with a couple and go and have coffee with them, and they realize I'm just a person and we have a lot of fun together, they realize, oh, it's not some big hotshot guy who thinks he's all better than himself or whatever. It's just a normal person, and we love this guy and his wife, and we want to have him at our wedding. And I think it's the same thing with that is people buy into that brand, and then they follow you a lot more too, because they realize that, oh, he's a person, and they buy into your story and they
It's
see
very
you and want.
approachable. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
exactly. I think I think a lot more people need to do that, especially when they're starting out. I think
Yeah.
you still need to have that brand name and business, so that way as you grow, it's not just about you, but
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
the
Mhm.
person behind the brand really helps. There's a lot of great brands that I shoot for, that they really, the CEO or the owner or the creator is still the face behind the brand, but they slowly, you kind of see them slowly putting regular kind of big brand ad stuff, but still showing the CEO creator behind it being a real person. So I think that's great. That's such a huge. I'm gonna make a note of that because I'm talking to a kid who's starting a company, and I'm like, hey, don't make it a big brand, just make it yourself. I think that's a great thing. So I guess we went from the highs. So maybe why don't you tell me a couple of challenges or like some oh crap. I kind of like call them the oh crap moments. Like you're doing the business. Maybe you had something where you just got overwhelmed with orders, or someone hated your bag, or maybe no one's ever hated your bag, but like what's like an oh crap moment since you've been running this that like someone could kind of learn from?
Yeah, I guess one of the moments was when I figured, oh, no sales have come in, at this point, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
How am I going to pay my rent?
Yeah.
No, but that's worked out all right, I guess. Another one, yeah, you said it, feedback. So I do get lots of positive feedback, but as with anything, the ones that are not so positive, hit the most, and you remember them the most,
Yeah.
even if it's just one person out of 100 or more. Yeah, it's been tough to get to, cope, well, just to accept it. I guess
Yeah.
it's super normal, right? You can't please everybody, and
Yeah.
not everybody will be happy. And I've really had very, very few complaints. Maybe one or two bags are not perfect and something, I was still improving while I started with the business. So,
Yeah.
but I made some mistakes in the beginning. And maybe one or two people had a bag that wasn't built perfectly and something
Yeah.
happened. So, if it's attachment loops and, well, I didn't really consider how much weight some people could put into a camera bag. So one
Yeah.
of them started dripping. It wasn't really that bad, but so I did try to offer him a replacement. He didn't want it, but that happens. But then you improve your construction, and that never happens again.
Yeah.
And also there was one person who was quite unhappy with how the camera bag worked. For him, wasn't the right bag for him. It was fine,
Yeah.
but I struggled with that feedback. But it's yeah, I think once you go through it once or twice, you just learn that it's fine, and it should be. Why
Yeah.
it's just like just a life skill, I guess. It's like
Yeah. I, yeah, I mean, you always, every attack on your product, it feels like it's like degrading your own child kind of a thing, and it hurts because it's your baby. So yeah, I mean, we all learn from that.
yeah.
This is complete out of left field, but can you show your bag one more time?
Yeah.
Because I was just you have loops on the side, right? Or does it depend
Oh
on
yes, so we have
yeah?
these loops too. Yeah, so you use these
'Cause
to connect it to your backpack.
yeah,
Or yeah.
because I love those loops. I think
Oh yeah.
that is such a small thing,
Mm-hmm.
but such a big thing. Because I sometimes will put it on the back of my bag. Actually, I'll like if I don't need it for the day or whatever, I'll actually throw mine on the back of my bag. But I'm trying to finagle it. But now I have the ability to tie it off if I want, or change the clips and everything else. So I was
Yeah.
just looking at the string or the plant you have behind you, and how
Oh,
it was looping like that. And then all of a sudden in my brain, I was like, wait a second, those loops in his bag. I had to ask you about that. So how
that's
did you
actually
come
what.
up with?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually what I talked about earlier. The one design criteria and flexibility is just how you
Yeah.
attach it. So lots of bags would just have two small loops at the top, or yeah, and you're quite limited on what you can do with it.
Yeah.
So I have all of those loops, and you can tie the bottom loops also to your straps to reduce swing if you
Yeah.
experience swing with your bag,
Yeah.
or tie to the side or back of your backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also basically the loops come pre-installed to a piece of webbing, so backpack webbing.
Yeah.
I don't have it here right now.
No, I know what you're talking about.
So basically the thing that connects your shoulder strap to your backpack, or what's typically a backpack handle, that's
Yeah.
called webbing. And those loops are, made in the factory, and the cord loops are built into that webbing. So I
Yeah.
just need to sew that webbing into the camera bag. And it's actually taking the MYOG, Make Your Own Gear community, very, they have adopted it super quickly. So I didn't, it's not me who,
Okay.
used it first, but there's,
Yeah.
one, you have certain retailers that sell all these things that only big brands would use to
Yeah.
smaller people. And one of them has that in stock, and suddenly everybody's using it just because it makes making so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
When I was on the Colorado Trail, the bag that I had was, I mean, it was huge. Like the bag itself, the camera bag itself weighed 3 pounds. It was
Oh,
a
wow.
huge bag. And I was
Mm.
trying, I bought, because I needed more than just the hyperlight bag that I had. And then I knew it was going to rain on trail. So I was like, I need something that's going to potentially get wet and be okay. And so last minute, I was like, I think I need a different bag. So I went on Amazon, just bought like 12 different bags, and then tried them all. And was like, okay, this one is going to get me through the trip, and then I'll have to figure something out next time.
Mm.
But I was filming people, and then I'd have to run after them after that, right? Because by the time I get the drone out, get the drone up in the
Oh, yeah.
air and everything else, and then fly it around them, they keep hiking so that I'm out of the shot. And I'm like, okay, now I have to run. I mean, I could hike real slow, but then might miss something else to film them. And so I'd have to run. And the bag that I had was just like slamming me in the chest the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time. And I tried to finagle 2 extra clips on there to help with that. But I was like, man, I need a loop on this bag so bad. So that would have helped so much on that, because we got caught in a lot of rain that time too. Um, so what, I guess I got a couple more questions, and then we'll go into our kind of lightning round. But what's something that you've changed your mind about since launching your company?
Oh, pricing.
Yeah.
So I
How so?
started with, like probably a mistake that everybody does, trying to price based on feel. What feels
Yeah.
good, what would you pay for this bag, looking at competition and seeing what do they charge, and trying to keep the price as low as possible because you want people to buy it, and
Yeah.
then by that devaluing your own work and not paying yourself enough to actually run that sustainably, that business.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, so changed my mind on that. So I um made better calculations, and I've raised the prices, especially so
Yeah.
compared to my launch. Compared to that, I've raised prices quite a lot. So that might also explain why my first months were actually quite good, in terms of
Yeah.
sales. um, um, compared, to starting from nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to pay yourself and value your time.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
exactly. You have to do that math. And I guess making a hike, I know that companies always run into this, and, you know, pricing or creating a really good product that's so good that you're like, hey, how can I now get returning customers when they've already got a bag that's so well that you're like, okay, so do you make? Because I know I see like you make another kind of a smaller right? You make
Yeah.
custom stuff. So, but like I don't know if it's a camera pod or a phone holder. Do you have any other products that are kind of okay? How do I keep these previous purchasers? How do I keep them in my ecosystem? How do I keep them coming back for maybe something else?
It's a really good question, and I haven't really thought about it that way yet. But
Yeah.
interestingly enough, I've had quite a few people who bought multiple bags, and
Yeah.
I guess because they use different camera system, or maybe on some mics they take a small camera, then they have a big camera, or they change systems and need a different
Yeah.
size. So actually, I was quite surprised that people come back. Pleasantly surprised,
Yeah.
come back and
That's
buy
awesome.
stuff, which also means that they enjoy the bags, which is really nice. I feel
Yeah.
like that's the best compliment you can get, buying another bag somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm now working on a bag that's just more, everyday friendly, and not so
Yeah.
specific and so niche, because the basic bag that the base bag that I sell is just really trimmed to be, what I said, as light as possible.
Yeah.
And while it's being waterproof and all that.
Yeah.
But it really, I stripped away all other features. But I want to bring back some. to just attract also other people, but also say,
Yeah.
hey, if you like the system, but you don't like it for, city use, because you also want to bring your phone or your wallet and put that inside.
Yeah.
Well, this bag might work just because it has more features. It has, external
Yeah.
pockets and all that. That's what I used on our New Zealand trip, and I loved it. I
Okay.
can actually show it right now. It's a
Yeah.
very similar system. You've got the roll top bag. It's padded. It's kind of rigid, but you
Oh,
got
awesome.
more panels, which allows me to do more things. So more seams. It's harder to waterproof, but you
Yeah.
gotta have a trade-off. But
Yeah.
pockets on the side, a zip pocket. I have a pocket for my phone in there because we spend lots of time hiking, and I wanted my camera
Yeah.
accessible and an extra lens. What I had in there. But on city trips, I also wanted to have my, just go out with that bag, put my phone in there, put my camera in there,
Yeah.
without an extra lens, but bring a rain jacket instead.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on. And what I
I
think would
was
be more appealing to more people as well.
No, that looks like because I'm just thought process thinking of myself on the trail is that could even be used as like uh almost like a ditty bag, but then I could when I'm at camp, I can now just sling it over and now use it as a camera bag to go
Oh
up
yeah,
to man, that's such a good idea. I never thought of that. That's a good idea.
yeah. And
Because
having a
even like
strap with
looking
it,
at,
yeah,
do
it
you
means you can
have
just Oh, sorry, you go right.
no, I was just gonna say, like, even with your bag having just like a sling strap that I can just clip in those loops,
Yeah.
and now I have it in front. But then if I have camp set up, I don't need to take my whole bag. I'm just gonna, go for
Oh
like a
yeah,
mile or two to go to a spot. I can just now just sling it over, and a strap or even a light piece of cordage or something like that
would work. Yeah.
would work for that. So, man, that's awesome. I just like blew my mind myself right now as to how I can hike with that bag like that. Okay, cool. So when do you think you're going to come out with or start selling that kind of city
Oh yeah.
day bag kind of thing?
But hopefully as soon as possible. Really, once
Yeah.
I've caught up with my orders. I guess February.
Okay.
So I've built like a small batch of 10 with all different colors, just using thread pieces and to
Yeah.
make individual bags. And I've already taken pictures of them before I went on my big trip. I wanted to launch it
Yeah.
ages ago, but it all takes more time than you anticipate. So yeah, that really as soon as possible. Definitely. I mean, definitely this year, and hopefully within
Yeah.
the coming months.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I got two more questions. Last one is what is, and some people, their business hasn't been around for too long. So maybe you might not have the answer to this one, but what's the weirdest or most unexpected place your product has ever shown up?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I think I only know from emails. I mean, I think someone's taken it to Antarctica, from
Oh,
what I
awesome.
know. Or, yeah, just sometimes people tell me that they buy the bag for a certain trip. And it's
Yeah.
just awesome seeing where people take those bags. It's fantastic. I would love to go to those places,
Yeah.
Patagonia and, everywhere,
Yeah.
to all the great hiking destinations.
I was just thinking it'd be really cool if like, is this Jimmy Chin, right? Or Jimmy Chu,
Oh, yeah,
the,
the climbing.
the
Mm.
climbing guy? It would be awesome if like you see him on some documentary with Alex Honnold, and next thing you know,
Oh,
he's got
yeah.
like your bag hanging off, and he just pulls his camera out, and you're like, "What? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!"
that
That
would be
I mean,
fantastic.
that'd be awesome. All right, and then I guess my last question would be, if your business was a trail, what would it be, and what mile are you on?
Ooh, well, that's a very interesting question. I guess I would be the Kungsleden Trail, the King's Trail in Sweden that I talked about, just because I connect my bag so much to that trail, because that's where I built the idea, my first bag for
Yeah,
that trail. Mm, yeah. What mile would I be on? Mm.
probably still
So,
the trailhead, right?
pretty, yeah, I guess pretty far the trail line. So I didn't hike for that. It was 170 kilometers, so I can't be 100K in.
Yeah,
Pretty early on. Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
how. Yeah. I need to think longer about this question.
No, it's cool. If it pops up, feel free to chime in. But
Yeah.
I do have one last question actually. Um, What advice would you give to someone at the trailhead at the start of their business, at the start of their outdoor business dream? What's some advice you would give to someone who's starting their own business?
Yeah, what's most important? I guess maybe don't be afraid to ask others of help, or and also just start.
Yeah.
I guess your own fears can hold you back a lot, and thinking,
Yep.
oh, will people like this? Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, is this good enough? I mean, you will get instant feedback if you do it, as long as
Yeah,
you
you
don't
will.
have to buy, thousands of units if you have other people produce it. If you
Yeah.
make it yourself, you have a very small business like myself. I told myself, well, I love this bag, but I was really scared that people would not like it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the roll top idea. Uh, you know, I tried it on trail and it really worked well. But I was afraid that people would think, oh, it's a roll top. It's hard to use. How do you get to unroll it every time? Oh, if you unroll it, it would block your view maybe, or you need to reach down so far.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever made any of those complaints.
Yeah.
So, don't hold yourself back with your own fears
Yeah.
and just do it. And then, yeah, if you make it yourself and people don't like something, you can change it.
Yeah.
If people tell you, oh, this might not be perfect, change it. And all the custom options that I offer, most of them were actually customers' ideas. I didn't come up with it. I came up with the bag.
Yeah.
People said, hey, can I have like a big external pocket going around the bag? I heard you make custom gear. Can you do it? I tried it.
Yeah.
It was great. So now I offer it to everybody, and it's become quite popular. And yeah,
Oh, cool.
go ahead.
That's,
Trust your customers and don't trust your fears.
yeah. That's great. That's great advice. Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, I learned so much. I mean, I learned so much when I talk to anybody, when it comes to their companies and what they create and stuff like that. So I'm going to run into our rapid fire round where I'm just going to ask you a bunch of just random stupid questions. Not stupid, but just normal questions, but just so people can get to know you a little bit more. Usually sometimes I think I should ask this at the beginning so people can go, oh, I know him now or her now. So, all right, so here we go. First question, coffee or electrolyte drinks on the trail?
Both. Coffee.
Coffee?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge coffee guy. All right, so, and you could say any park so for this, but favorite national park?
Duh. It's hard because we don't really have that national park system, like you do in the US.
Yeah.
So, I will say Sarek National Park. I haven't really been in there just for a day on that trail I've been talking about, but it's
Yeah.
a place I want to go. Sarek
Yeah.
in Sweden.
Sarek. Okay,
Yeah.
Sarek in Sweden. I'm always making a list of like places I should go when I talk to people about it too. All right, so last thing you Googled related to your business?
Well, I guess Challenge Outdoor, which is the manufacturer of lots of the fabrics that I use.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm looking into buying directly from the manufacturer, buying wholesale rather than, via retailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting journey.
Do you have to place? I'm assuming you have to place a pretty large.
It's actually all
order.
right. So, fabric is sold in yards of a certain
Yeah.
width. And, their minimum order quantity is, I think, 50 yards, which isn't that much.
Yeah.
But then shipping from the US adds a lot of money to it. So you need to, order more to actually make it worth a while.
Okay.
But yeah, it does save costs from you just, buying 100 yards of different fabrics in total.
Yeah.
Does save me quite a bit of money. Yeah, but it's kind of tough to get in touch with them as a very small maker. And lots of people do it, but it's been kind of tricky purchasing from them because their online systems, it's not like your typical online store. When they say it's in stock, it will ship next day. It's it's more complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're gonna make that fabric in a month, so you can have it.
Yeah, it's been a little bit frustrating actually. So they say,
Yeah.
if it says it's not in stock, please go ahead and order anyway, so we can put it on the back order, list. And then, I did that, and then it would have taken like half a year to get my fabric. And I was like, okay, well, cancel that and try again once you have it in stock. So I ordered it now in stock, but I haven't heard back yet. So I'm hoping it will be very quick. Hoping to have a success story here.
That's awesome. All right, worst trail snack you've ever tried?
Worst trail snack? I love my trail snacks.
All right, so now
I only
okay, so
bring
then
snacks that I like.
All right. So then what's your favorite trail snack?
Honey roasted nuts.
Honey roasted nuts.
Or, like licorice chocolate.
Licorice chocolate.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
that
like
is definitely a
Danish or
European,
Swedish,
German
like
thing.
it's my favorite. Like it's for the bad days, when you need like a mental boost as well.
Yeah.
That's when you get that chocolate. What I do.
Is it because I know growing up, I grew up in Canada and my neighbors were from Holland and they always had black licorice and it tasted terrible. Is it that licorice covered in chocolate or is it like the red
No,
licorice
it's more like wow.
or
Well,
like
I don't know
gummies?
what I don't know. I don't know what red licorice is. It's more like I'm not that much of a licorice expert to actually answer this
Yeah.
question.
No, it's okay. You're the bag expert, not the
Yeah,
licorice expert.
exactly.
So, well, you have to send that to me. I want to totally send the brand and stuff like that. I want to totally
yeah.
try it and stuff like that.
Will
Well,
do.
depending on what kind of licorice it is, because the black licorice, it tastes so bad.
So it's not the
I
bitter
couldn't as a
kind.
kid.
No, it's
Okay,
sweet for
that's
sure.
the one then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because the one I'm talking about was like a bitter
Oh yeah.
thing, and I couldn't do it. All right, what's one outdoor skill you still kind of suck at?
Oh, being outdoors in the rain. So I was talking about this. I had that one big rainstorm where my camera bag failed that I had at that point. But also, like apart from that, like I have an crazy amount of luck in terms of weather on trail.
Yeah.
And I've gone on trips and hoped to have bad weather just to get better at it, to know how I deal with bad weather, to be able to go more off trail into more remote places. But I always get good weather. So go hiking with me, you will get good weather.
Yes, awesome. Well, I'll go with New Zealand with you next time.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then I guess the two more questions. Mountains, forest, desert, or coast?
Mountains.
Mountains, yes. And then last one is favorite way to unplug, other than hiking.
Other than hiking.
Other than the outdoors, I guess.
Because that's a really good answer. Yeah. Reading.
Reading. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of books do you like to read?
At the moment, fantasy. Yeah.
Okay.
I've only recently got back into reading. So I do listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts while I work. When you make stuff, you can fill your brain with audio. But yeah, actually, since we came back from that trip, I try to stay away from social media a little bit more. And in the evenings, I'm now reading books. And actually, it's great. It gets your mind off things. You fall asleep much more easily.
Yeah.
Reading is good.
Yeah. It slows you down. I wish I could read a book. I don't read books at all. I mean, I literally can't remember the last time I read a book at all. I mean, I listen to podcasts and stuff like that, and I throw it in an AirPod in my ear to go to sleep. But my oldest daughter, she reads every single book she has is like this thick.
Oh, wow.
And it's always either historical books or like his stuff that is history, but not really history. I always forget the fiction versus nonfiction. That's how uneducated I am sometimes. It sounds so, but yeah. So I mean, that's cool. It's great to hear like your hobbies and stuff like that too, because I think people like to know, like we were talking about, the human connection. They like to know like more about you and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you being on today. And if people are looking for your bags, where can they find you where's your website, your socials, all that good stuff?
Yeah, it will be a website and Instagram. Website is the best place always. Photography as well. All photographers know, don't go on Instagram to watch images, go to the replays.
Yeah.
It's leichtmut.de. Well, you should probably copy it from the show notes or description or something, because it's German and I don't want to spell it out. Yeah, and Instagram will be leichtmut.gear, and we'll find it as well.
Okay.
And you can also reach me on there or via email. That's always, I'm pretty quick at responding. Yeah, I'm just one person, not a big brand.
Yeah. Unless you're gone for 6 weeks in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and then I ghost people for 6 weeks and then I'm back.
Yeah. They're like, where is he? It's like, he can't even be connected to. So,
Yeah.
well, I really appreciate you being on, and everybody who's listening and watching this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll have all those links in the show notes. And we appreciate you again, Jacob, so much, and we'll see you on the trail.
Yes, thank you.